As some of you know, I live in California, and California has been having some horrible, awful trouble with the California fires recently. I said before on my Twitter, and I'll say it again, I am completely fine. The fires have not affected me or my family at all. So you don't gotta worry about me. I'm in a safe place. The fires have not gone anywhere near where I live, which is a good thing. I hope they stay away from us. But also, it's terrible about the families that have been affected by the fires. So I hope and pray that people that have been affected by fires are okay, and you know, that they're doing well. Here you go. We're gonna watch a video about inside the LA wildfires catastrophic management, which I have heard about. I've heard that there was not enough water to handle the fires in the first place. And also I heard about the insurance that which one was it? State Farm? State Farm was canceled people's fires insurance right before the fire started. And I also heard that the fire started in someone's backyard, but I'm not entirely sure if that's true. A few months beforehand. Yeah, it was like right before the fires happened that State Farm, the people that have State Farm insurance, State Farm canceled their fire insurance for some reason, which doesn't make any sense to me because, you know, as a state prone to fires, very knowingly prone to fires, to cancel the fire insurance. That's like canceling flood insurance, right? Right as a hurricane's being reported. That's kind of weird, and it's kind of sus, if I do say so myself. But like I said, we're watching Mugen inside the LA wildfires catastrophic management. So we'll probably report about how terrible it's been and all the shit that happened where LA was not prepared.
Tens of thousands of structures destroyed as hundreds of thousands of people are evacuated. A health emergency declared due to all the smoke in the air. Police deployed to burnt areas because of looters. Tap water isn't even safe to drink or cook with. And a fire tornado straight from the gates of hell itself, with winds reaching over 85 miles per hour. Not only is this a natural disaster,
it's crazy,
but we're also witnessing one of the biggest logistical disasters in history. Historians are going to write about this, but before they do, we're going to talk about it in this video, starting with this map. These are all the structures and buildings destroyed because of this fire
horrifying.
So far. And we're only getting
I've been watching
started.
the news
Look
about
at
it. It's
the
crazy.
amount of destruction here.
It's
this
heartbreaking.
is insane. Massive communities wiped off the face of the earth. Now, this map right here is for evacuations, okay? Look at this massive area. Whatever is in orange is already burning. Whatever's in red is an evacuation order. If you live in these areas, you are obligated.
Which is, well, to me, when California's high risk for wildfires, pretty sus. It is very sus. Why would they cancel fire insurance in a state that's prone to wildfires? I don't know. Makes sense from the perspective that insurance companies are evil and want profit. That is true, Sabujo. If we could, we'd live without insurance. But if we want money back on stuff happening to us, we gotta have insurance, which is what gives them advantage over us. I think I saw they are banning the cancellation of insurance stuff, but not entirely sure if that's true or not. I'm not entirely sure either. I only heard very few things. I'm watching the news about it. About like everything that's happening. But I haven't heard anything about them canceling it, which they better they better cancel the cancellation of fire insurance. That's stupid.
To leave immediately, and whatever's in yellow is an evacuation warning. Okay, you have to be on standby, and you can receive a message at any moment telling you to leave. The fires are so deep in the city that they're so close to Santa Monica itself. But I want you to imagine something. Imagine that you are a Los Angeles resident living in these yellow areas. You receive a message on your phone, an emergency alert with a loud sound saying new. This is an emergency message from the Los Angeles County Fire Department. An evacuation warning has been issued in your area. Remain vigilant of any threats and be ready to evacuate. Gather loved ones, pets, and supplies. Continue to monitor local weather, news, and the webpage Alerta for more information.
I did also hear and see when people were like evacuating, people were leaving their pets, which no blame to them. They're in a rush. Like the fire spread fast. People are in a rush, but it's still like really heartbreaking. Like thinking about all the pets that were left behind, the poor dogs that are roaming the streets looking for their families. It makes me cry a little, honestly.
Now, this message was made to be sent to people in the yellow areas when their areas turn red. But in this case, millions of Los Angeles residents received these messages on their phones, some not even close to the fires. How would you feel seeing a message like this when you have an elderly parent or children or pets? But hey, don't worry, it's all good. It's okay. Because they received a message around 20 minutes later saying, oops, sorry, disregard last evacuation. It was for Kenneth Fire only. So the fire that's very far around here, close to Agora Hills and Calabasas. You think to yourself, okay, fine, listen, this made me panic like crazy.
Either way, if you're like living over here and you know the fire's pretty close by, even if you don't get an evacuation warning, if you know the fire's nearby, fire spread fast. Like it could literally be like overnight, and like suddenly hits you. They spread super fast. So like even if you're here, if you're not getting evacuated, you should still evacuate. It's kind of not to put the blame on people that don't evacuate, but if I were living here, I'm not, by the way. If I were living as close to I would already be gone before I even get an evacuation in my area.
But hey, this was one mistake. I'm sure it won't happen again. Well, guess what? You go to sleep and at 4 a.m. you're woken up because of a very loud sound on your phone. It's another emergency alert saying the same exact thing. Guess what? This one was also sent to millions of people, and it was also a false alarm. This sparked massive panic, all right? And now people don't even trust these messages anymore. Authorities are worried that if they send an evacuation message to people, they're going to disregard it. And why wouldn't they? How could this happen in a country that calls itself a first world country in a state like California? Have we learned nothing from 2018? Hawaiians back then had to deal with a message like this sent to their phone saying a ballistic missile threat is inbound to Hawaii. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. This turned out to be false, of course, but it was tragic. Families were calling each other saying goodbye. But it was unfortunately only the tip of the iceberg. This led to the famous copypasta of someone having intercourse with their biological sister because they thought they were going to die anyway, so why not? Okay? We cannot have more incidents like these happen. And this is one of many logistical failures that have occurred in Los Angeles.
Okay, even if you think it's like the end of the world, don't have with your sibling. What do you mean might as well? That's, first of all, what kind of a fucked up relationship do you have with your sibling for the both of you to just agree on that? That's actually horrible.
Only in the last few days. Look, I lived in Los Angeles for a few years of my life, and I can tell you right now, wildfires are a yearly occurrence. Initially, the red skies and the smoky air is going to shock you, but by the second year you live there, you'll understand this is something that happens all the time. But why does it happen? Well, the phenomenon is called whiplash, where you have extremely wet weather at one time and then extremely dry weather at the other with no in-betweens. Los Angeles weather always fluctuates between two extremes, and it typically has very dry winters like right now, which means that all the moisture from grass and any vegetation is completely gone in the mountains, and it's all going to act like fuel at the slightest little spark that lights up for whatever reason.
Do you remember that one baby shower one that turned into like a massive wildfire? if you're gonna do like a baby shower, baby reveal type thing, don't use actual real life grenades or flaming what do they call it? When was that? That was like a couple years ago, I think. But I remember there was a person that used not a grenade. What do you call it? Flares? They used a flare to like show, and like colored smoke to show the baby. the baby gender. And the flare caught the dry grass around it because they were in the desert for some god reason. The flame from the flare caught the grass on fire, and they didn't bring any like fire extinguishers or any water to put out the obvious fire that it was going to cause. They just ran. They ran from the scene and it caused a massive fire. So if you're gonna do something that's fire related, just make sure you don't live in a state that's prone to fucking wildfires, okay?
When you combine this with such insane winds that can spread embers miles...
What's wrong with a colored cake or a balloon? Some people just want to do extreme stuff to reveal the gender of their baby. I don't know.
Away, this is how you get a ridiculous amount of fire spreading way too quickly. Not to mention that this wind can knock down a UFC fighter if it wanted to. Even if you...
To be fair, in their slight defense, they didn't intend to cause a fire, but the fact that they ran, I don't think they even called the fire department or anything about when the grass caught fire. They just ran. It was on video too. Someone fucking recorded it like the dumbass they are. Like, it was all recorded too.
You had the equipment, you can't even make it to where the fire is because the wind would stop you.
I don't think they intended to cause a wildfire, but if you're gonna do something that's obviously gonna catch something on fire, you should bring preventatives to not cause a wildfire.
Because fires are a yearly occurrence in Los Angeles,
like,
one could say that it's
obvious.
like earthquakes in Japan. Earthquakes in Japan happen often. Which
they didn't intend to cause a fire, they were just doing something that obviously could cause a fire, and they didn't bring any fire preventatives or anything. So they're guilty on that. They're guilty for being fucking stupid.
Which is why they've converted all their infrastructure to be made specifically to resist them as much as possible. But this begs the question that everyone's asking. How is it that fire hydrants in Los Angeles, a city that gets wildfires all the time, ran out of water immediately? Firefighters would show up to the scene, use water a little bit, and then all of a sudden realize, wait, this is already out of water. We have to leave immediately. Well, it turns out that there was a water reservoir in the Palisades, the biggest fire going on right now, right? That had a capacity of 117 million gallons that was empty. And it didn't get empty recently. It's been empty for an entire year.
I didn't know about that. Well, obviously, if we're just learning about it now, nobody knew that it was... Well, actually, the people who are supposed to be watching the goddamn thing and filling it with water knew, but they didn't say anything?
Making residents furious. This isn't just a water capacity issue, right? The less water you have, the less water pressure you have as well. And when the winds are so crazy, you need very good water pressure to be able to counter the extremely strong fires. This was a water capacity and a water pressure logistical disaster. And many are wondering, how could this happen?
I also remember people asking, why didn't they just grab water from the ocean since, California is right by the ocean. You can literally just grab water from the ocean. It's really not that easy. I don't think ocean water in and of itself is good fire preventative in the first place because it's salty, right? Salt catches on fire, I'm pretty sure. They have to filter that shit. Plus, it takes a lot of energy and probably a lot more gas than it's worth to get a helicopter, grab water from the ocean, bring it all the way to the fire, and then keep doing that. If anything, that wastes more resources, right?
This is the most taxed state in the United States, after all. If you live in California, you pay as much taxes as I do in France, but here at least I get free healthcare. What's going on? Well, the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, posted this on his Twitter account, saying that he's calling for an independent investigation into the loss of water pressure to local fire hydrants and the reported unavailability of water supplies from the Santa Ynez Reservoir. We need answers to ensure this does not happen again, and we have every resource available to fight these catastrophic fires. But to many, this just sounds like Mr. Beast investigating himself. This shouldn't have happened to begin with.
Basically, the problem with the ocean water is that it's full of stuff that isn't water. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have to filter ocean water to make it water to prevent wildfires. Because you still have to filter it. You can't drink ocean water. What makes you think ocean water is good against fucking fire?
Investigation shouldn't have happened to begin with. But it did, and it severely impacted what firefighters could even do, because without water, they can't do anything. They're just human beings at the end of the day. Prompted other countries to step in to help, like Mexico and Canada, more specifically the province of Quebec, sending their super scooper carrying a lot of water dumping it on the fires. But here's the thing. The pilot flying this plane volunteering almost lost his life because some idiot was flying his drone over the fires trying to capture footage. This hit the wing of the Super Scooper and almost downed the plane. It can't help anymore. In fact, planes and helicopters were forbidden from going for a while because of all these drones in the air risking their lives. Now, yes, the police department did say that if you're flying a drone in the area right now, you risk a $75,000 fine, but dude, the damage was done. This is another logistical disaster. The firefighters were lacking water and now didn't have access to foreign aid for a while. So far, no one's been arrested, but it's not like it's a priority because people are too distracted by things that don't exist right now. One of the fires that sparked up in Los Angeles was in the Hollywood Hills, something unprecedented. But thankfully it was contained within a day and isn't a threat anymore. This hasn't stopped tens of millions of people to believe that this footage is real. Yes, even though there's 3 L's in the Hollywood sign, many people thought this was real. There were many videos shared of the Hollywood sign burning, either taken from movies, series, YouTube videos, you name it. And people ate it up. Like this TikTok right here with 4.4 million likes and tens of millions of views asking who the hell said there was a fire on the Hollywood sign. Many of the comments being in complete disbelief, asking themselves if they actually fell for AI, and it turns out they did. But whether you were tricked by this video or not, many people thought that these fires had something to do with arson. And it wouldn't be the first time a major fire in Los Angeles was caused by human negligence. A devastating fire at the end of 2017 was caused by power lines sparking. One of the craziest Los Angeles fires that was caused back in 2020 was because of a malfunctioning smoke machine that caught fire during a gender reveal party. It ended up...
Was that the one I was talking? No, I was talking about the one with the flare. I don't think I heard of this one.
Claiming the life of a veteran firefighter. This is making many people believe that it's too much of a coincidence that many of these fires are starting next to residential areas. Like this tweet right here claiming that there's an arsonist in LA. Well,
gender reveals are added again. I do remember one about one being caused by a gender reveal flare. I remember that one. I don't remember where it is, but where it was though, and it caused a wildfire.
Well, some residents spotted someone on a bicycle carrying a blowtorch in their neighborhood 30 minutes after the Kenneth fire had started. They took him down, tied him up, and then called the police, who showed up 30 minutes later. He claimed that he was carrying a blowtorch because he used it to light up weed. Yes. The reason why this was significant was because the Los Angeles...
Why are you using a blowtorch to light up weed? That's stupid in the first place. Just use a regular lighter. It works the same way.
This police department had initially said that it believed that the Kenneth fire was started intentionally, unlike the others. But obviously when they said this, they had no proof, and they still don't. They wanted to put this guy in jail no matter what, but didn't have enough evidence to do anything with it. The damage was done though. People are now paranoid over the fact that there are arsonists starting these fires on purpose, inciting more panic and conspiracy theories. Someone else got arrested, a 60-year-old woman, for starting a fire that was thankfully very quickly extinguished by authorities, adding more fuel to the fire, and no pun intended, but you get what I mean. But whether it was arson or natural causes, the question remains: how did the senior and top officials allow this to happen by being so badly prepared? Insurance companies saw this coming a mile away last summer in 2024 by canceling the coverage of everyone in the Pacific Palisades. It didn't matter how long you were subscribed to their insurance. They weren't the only insurer to do this, all giving the same reasons that if they stayed there, they faced the risk of bankruptcy. So yeah, it's not just health insurance that's scummy in the US, it's any type of insurance, including home insurance.
Yeah, right there at the bottom. Shoot. Go back a little.
Away last summer in 2024 by canceling the coverage of everyone in the Pacific Palisades. It didn't matter how long you were subscribed.
Our number one
to their
priority right now is the safety of our customers.
They weren't the only insurer to do this. People are very mad.
Why would wildfire insurance cancel fire insurance? That's your job.
At both the mayor and the governor.
That's the one thing you do. Give people fire insurance. Why would you cancel that?
One Palisade resident finding Gavin Newsom and confronting him, asking him, how did you allow this to happen? Why is this happening? And look at his response. It's ridiculous.
I'm talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the call.
Why is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it.
I'm literally on the phone with the president. Let me hear it. Actually, no, my phone isn't working. This is a resident that
I want to hear you talking with the president right now. Okay, I'm on the phone with him right now. Okay, unmute. Let me hear the conversation. Oh, actually, we're out of, you know, because of the fire, we don't have any signal, so I can't. Sorry.
that maybe voted for him, right? Trusted him to run California and give it what it needs in the face of disaster, and yet she was completely and utterly failed. At the same time, there's a petition calling for the mayor to resign because she also did not prepare for this. Currently sitting at over 78,000 signatures and going up by the second. I mean, look at all these signatures happening right now as I'm talking. People are very pissed. As I'm recording this at 2 a.m. European time on January 12th, the Palisades fire is only 11% contained, needing to reach 100 for it to be controlled and then completely extinguished. Eaton fire, same thing, sitting at 15%. Now the firefighters and government officials are hoping that the winds finally regress and allow them to actually contain the fires, but here's the problem. The winds keep getting worse and they're not.
Yeah, because it's wind season, you dumb. You should have been prepared for this. We had a windstorm not long ago.
Not calming down. Worst case, they keep going until next week, which means that unless more people are mobilized, more water is somehow found.
Like, even though it's winter right now, like, I'm pretty sure we're still in winter season. It's that just because it's winter over here, that don't mean that we're not prone to wildfires. We're prone to wildfires just as much if we were in summer season.
And more measures are taken, this fire will continue spreading. And I want to make sure to say that this is not the fault of the firefighters or the first responders. These people are heroes. The ones who should be held responsible, though, are the senior officials, the people high up in power that have the ability to determine budget cuts, track water reservoirs, make sure fire hydrants are functioning, because it's their fault. And unless something changes with those people, this is going to happen again next year, mark my words. Anyway, please stay safe out there, and thank you so much for watching until the end. I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is, and yeah, love you so much. Mwah.
Oh yeah. Right now for me, we're still, not affected. Nothing, no fires have been reported to coming anywhere near where I live. So we are fine for now. But if anything changes, I will make sure I let you guys know. And I'm gonna been gone. I'll be gone by the time the fire reaches where I live, because I'm already well prepared. We hope you remain safe. Thank you. It's so kind of you. We're fine. Thank you. But I'll let you guys know if anything changes. Don't worry.